Hello, this is James Bond Kill here, and today I'm doing a video on why James Bond is one person, and I'm going to show all the evidence of stuff like that, and I'll show in the video on prove why James Bond is one person, and that also why the codename theory that everyone talks about is a load of rubbish. I'm going to have several points and several bits that all in this video proving that James Bond is one person. Right, when it comes to his gun, his Walther PPK, Bond was given it in Dr. No by Q, and basically it proves that when it comes to no matter which actor it is, Bond has still got that gun, and again, you know, if it was a different character like the Codename Theory suggests, then every actor would be getting the same, like every time the actor changed, he would be given his gun all over again. So for example, Dr. No would be exactly the same, but then on Her Majesty's Secret Service with George Lazenby, he would have been given the gun again, and then in Live and Let Die, when Roger Moore was Bond, he'd get the gun again, and then when Pierce Brosnan got the gun in Goldeneye, he'd been given the gun again, and then in Casino Royale, if it was a different character again, then he would have got given it again. So what I'm saying is the videos are absolute, with the Codename Theory is a load of absolute rubbish. When it came to the book of Dr. No, he got his gun there. So all the books before, he didn't have the gun, but when it comes to his movies, the only time he got given the gun was Dr. No, and again, this is proving that James Bond is one person. Also, that in even if he loses the gun, he always ends up getting a new one. And you know, no matter which movie it is, he's always given the Walther PPK. He was clearly trained how to do it. He's had experience. For an example, with Moneypenny, Bond always, ever since Dr. No, has always flirted with Moneypenny. No matter what, he's always put his hat or something away, and he's flirted with Moneypenny, give a peck on the cheek or something, and he's always tried to flirt with her. Even in the Roger Moore ones, he's always came in and with a bunch of flowers, and he's always dressed up smartly to go and talk to her and try and impress her. She's always had a crush on him since Dr. No. Now, I agree, they tried to bring her back at the series in Skyfall. She was a different character in that, but from Dr. No to Die Another Day, she was the same character, but this is proving that James Bond's one person, because if he was a different person every time, why is it that no matter which actor it is, he's always flirted with her, no matter what? You know, in every single movie she's appeared, she's always tried to flirt with Bond, and, you know, try and look like constantly flirting on him no matter what. It was you know, like I said, it is proving that James Bond is one person, because like I was saying, it'd be completely different. Every single actor would be completely different. It just wouldn't work if the Codename Theory was true, because like I was saying about Moneypenny, she's always like Bond no matter which actor it was. Even in the ones from the Daniel Craig era, Naomi Harris played as her, and she just acted the same as the other ones. But what I'm saying, Moneypenny, the whole point of Moneypenny is proving that James Bond is one person, because if it was a different person every single time, then how's she acting the same way, and how's he acting the same way? Also, what people are saying as well, when they're like, why is Casino Royale, why is it in Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace she's not there? The only reason why she's not there in those two movies is because it just wouldn't make sense, and also in the book for Casino Royale, she wasn't mentioned. So why the hell would she be in the book and in the movie as well? And also Quantum of Solace, it just wouldn't work, basically. And like I was saying about the Moneypenny is that she hasn't changed no matter which actress it is, and people need to realise that. Because she hasn't changed, Bond hasn't changed either. When it comes to the death of his parents, now, what I was saying about the Codename Theory, how everyone thinks James Bond's the same person. Well, he's a different person every time. Well, if you look at, for example, in Skyfall, there was a grave of his parents. It was, what was their names again? It was Andrew and Monique Bond, and they were his parents, and they died in a climbing accident, and we only know that because Alex Trevelyan, he was a villain as well in Goldeneye, and he was saying we're both orphans, James, and he says, oh, when your parents died in a climbing accident, and again it's proven that he's one person again. And you know what I'm saying is what it proves with that Codename Theory is when it comes to the actual Codename Theory, it's proven again that it's an absolute load of rubbish, because if it was a Codename Theory, he wouldn't have had his parents' grave back in Scotland. He wouldn't have had it. So it's proving again that he is one person. And actually, you know, again, when it came to Skyfall, you know, he had a childhood home and everything, you know. They, you know, like I was saying, if it was a different person every time, well, how did he come from Skyfall in the first place? When it comes to the gambling scenes with James Bond, he's always gambled ever since Dr. No. We see it in the first scene it appeared in Dr. No, Thunderball, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Diamonds Are Forever, For Your Eyes Only, Octopussy, The Living Daylights, License to Kill, GoldenEye, Casino Royale and Skyfall. Why? Because he's always been good at it. And see, if it was a different person every single time, then it would be completely different. Like, Bond would be completely different every time he played. And like I was saying about Casino Royale in the other video, M was saying he was the best player in the service. He was only the best player in the service because they're shown in the other movies with different actors playing the same character, showing that he's really good at gambling. He's been really well done at it, and he's done such a great job being doing gambling. But I'd say he's been kind of lucky. Like, for example, he was doing blackjack and Diamonds Are Forever. He was doing poker and Dr. No and Thunderball and Casino Royale and License to Kill and stuff like that. And what I'm saying is, if it was a different character every time, then why is it that trait of him, like his gambling, how is it that it would have been different completely? It just proves that James Bond, again, is one person. And also, he's done like backgammon, for example, and Octopussy, and he was very, very, very confident as well. And he's played against his villains pretty well. I'd say Le Chiffre out of Casino Royale was quite a challenge for him, but he's still done it because he's really been good at gambling. He's had experience, unlike the Mary Sue Ray out of Star Wars. But what I'm saying about the gambling is that James Bond is a good gambler and very confident because he's the same person, and no matter which actor it is, he's always been the same. He's never been if he was different every time, then things would be completely different. Like, I'm just saying, Sean Connery would be the same, but then Roger Moore would be completely different, but they aren't, because it's one person. Now we're going to focus on actually Q, he was the second actor playing as Q, who was Desmond Llewellyn. Now, what I'm trying to say when it comes to the Desmond Llewellyn one of Q, now I agree, Q is a different character overall, but what I'm trying to say is that no matter which actor of Bond it is, Q's always thought he's a complete pain in the arse. He never liked him at all. No matter which actor, from Sean Connery all the way to from Sean Connery all the way to Pierce Brosnan. No matter which actor it's been, he's always thought Bond's been a pain in the arse. But he's always relied on him. Like, Bond's always relied on Q. And like I was saying, if Bond was a different character, then how is it Q, especially the Desmond Llewellyn ones, always thought Bond was a pain in the arse? He's always thought that. He's also said to Bond, can you actually for once give us something that was back in the thing? For example, in Spy He Loved Me, he was like, Q, have I ever let you down? And he's like, frequently. Why? Because James Bond is the same character as well as Desmond Llewellyn's Q. Bond is one person, and you're saying, well, how is it Desmond Llewellyn aged and Bond didn't? Because you're not getting the message. Q didn't, well, yes, he retired, but what I'm trying to say when it comes to Bond overall, he's just the same character with the same personality. I'll get to that later. But what I'm trying to say is that Q never changed, no matter which actor Bond was. And really, like I was saying, it proves again that James Bond is one person. Another thing that Bond's had a real trait about him as well is that he always dresses up smartly. no matter which actor it is, he's always appeared in a nice smart suit and looks all handsome to the ladies and all that. He's always done that since Doctor No, and he's always done that in Moneypenny scenes, or when he's fighting a bad guy, or when he's having a drink at the bar, or anything like that, or his gambling scenes like I was saying earlier on. He's just so good at it. He always dresses up smartly, and he's always been in a smart suit, no matter which actor it is. And also, things would be completely different if the Codename Theory was really, really true, because really, how is it he just always dresses up smartly? Every single movie just dresses up the same because he's used to it. And like I was saying, things, yeah, he wears a certain other things, like he was wearing this certain gear and like Thunderball, or, Casino Royale, he was wearing this kind of fancy thing when he was chasing that bomb maker. But after the scene in Casino Royale, what was he doing? Yeah, went back to being in his smart suit as always. He's just, like I was saying, he always dresses up smartly. He's always a nice smart suit and tie and a pair of shoes and stuff like that. And really, like I was saying, also he does, he wears a nice smart tuxedo, and even like, even in the scenes, like he flirts with Moneypenny always, even when he's in his smart suit, where if it was a different character every time, then he would be wearing joggers and a top one movie, and then it'd be a different actor and he'd be wearing jeans and a pair of tops, well, a top or something. But they don't do that. Why? Because he's one character. When it comes to Tracy, Bond met her in on Her Majesty's Secret Service because Bond bumped into this crime lord, and basically, Tracy was of course his daughter. He wanted them to marry and stuff. They fell in love eventually after Bond defeated Blofeld another time. But what I'm saying is that they married. They also were heading towards their honeymoon. They stopped on this road. Blofeld and Irma Boone drove past. They shot her down in his car. And then he went and he found out she was dead, and he was absolutely heartbroken. Blofeld completely broke his heart. And George Lazenby was in that movie, and then the next movie, James Bond was a completely different actor. It was what was his name again? Sean Connery. And Sean Connery, at the beginning of the scene, he was beating up some bad guys and he was going after Blofeld. Why was he going after Blofeld? Because he wanted revenge because of Tracy's death. Blofeld broke his heart and he was out of his way to kill Blofeld. Why didn't he want to kill Blofeld? Because he killed his wife. Because again, Bond was absolutely heartbroken, and you know what? I feel sorry for Bond and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to say is that, he was out of his way to kill Blofeld, and I can understand why Bond can hate Blofeld so much because, he killed his wife. And what I noticed as well is that in For Your Eyes Only, Bond went at the beginning, it was Roger Moore who was Bond in that. Basically, Bond went to Tracy's grave, put some flowers down for her, and he looked depressed and sad as always. Why? Because he's one person. And that's it. 3 actors have all connections to Tracy. Why? Because James Bond is one person. And of course, like I said, I'd understand why he'd be depressed. He lost his wife. And it was thanks to Blofeld. And I can understand where he was coming from. But this is proving again that James Bond is one person. Right, so the first time Bond got given the actual car, the Aston Martin DB5, was when he went to Q's gadget place in the MI6 building. He got given the car, and basically, Q showed him all the actual gadgets inside it, like the ejector seat and stuff. And basically, Bond was like, because Q was like saying, whatever you do, don't push this red button. And he was like, and he was saying all about the ejector seat, and that, he was like, ejector seat, you're joking. He's like, I never joke about my work, 007. What I'm saying, that was the first time he got his car, that actual Aston Martin DB5, basically. And, he had it throughout the movie. They had a whole crash scene and everything, but he still got it repaired for the next movie. And then the next time we see the DB5 is when what basically happened is Bond beat up a guy that was dressed up in drag, and they had a whole fight inside this house, and Bond escaped. And basically, you know, he used this jetpack to escape, and then when he landed back on the ground, the Aston Martin DB5 was there, and he went, put in the thing, and he also used the holes at the back of the thing, and he had the bulletproof screen at the back. And yeah, he had that car, he escaped in several scenes. As came to GoldenEye, when the DB5 appeared, it was when he was racing Gina on the top. Basically, he was one of the main villains. She had a Ferrari and he was driving his Aston Martin DB5. There was a woman beside him that was trying to evaluate him, and he was taking the complete piss out of her, wound her up and everything, and just went and drove as fast as he could and tried to race with on the top and have a lot of fun in that scene. And it's a bit different from the other two moments, but what I'm trying to say is he is one person, because if he was a different character every time, then how is it he's still got the same car like Sean Connery did? The Casino Royale, yeah, the Aston Martin appeared, the Aston Martin DB5 appeared, but it wasn't the same car with all the gadgets, because the difference is in Casino Royale, Bond was basically in the Bahamas, and he was went on, you know, he's trying to go and find out about all the bomb makers, and he found out about that Alex Dimitrios guy, and he done a whole poker match against them. And what I'm saying is they had this whole thing, and Alex Dimitrios couldn't get any money, like he couldn't get this money, so he put his car on the thing, and Bond beat him on cards with that game, with the game in the poker match, so he won the DB5 in that, but it wasn't the same DB5 with all the gadgets and the stuff and the car we know he's used to driving. It was a completely different car. Basically, when, you know, what I'm saying is that there was no ejector seat, there was none of that, but I'll explain that later. Comes to Skyfall, when the DB5 actually appeared, it was actually when Bond just took because the villain Silva was trying to go and kill her because he wanted revenge and all that, and Bond took her. They took her to this little garage. He then showed the DB5 in prime condition as always, and then what happened was M was saying it's not very comfortable, is it? And then he shows the ejector seat that they shown in Goldfinger. They show the same ejector seat that Q told him not to press. They show that same button, and you know, he was saying, "Are you going to complain the whole way?" And then she says, "She's like, go and then eject me. See if I care." And Bond puts a smile on his face. Now, like I said, I'll say about the gadgets afterwards. But what I'm trying to say is that it proves again that he's one person, because if it wasn't the same car, he wouldn't have had the ejector seat. So the gadgets and the consistency with all of the movies, for an example, like I was saying about the ejector seat, he got given it in Goldfinger and Q was telling him not to press it. But what I'm saying is the show in Goldfinger especially, there was a bad guy that Bond put out, like I was saying in the Goldfinger bit, that Bond, he pushed the button and the guy went out, and what I'm trying to say is he tried to do the same thing with M when she was trying to complain and say it was not very comfortable. And what also is the same is the machine guns that they show as well. For an example, the beginning, well, it was in the middle, it was in the bit when Bond was at Goldfinger's place in Switzerland, and he used these machine guns to shoot down this metal door, like the front of this metal door thing, and basically, you know, he shot it down to get the whole door and everything out. And what I'm saying is, he then uses the same machine guns to shoot all the bad guys that were actually about to go in the Skyfall house. Bond went and he had the same controls as always, and he shot those bad guys down. Liking what I'm trying to say about the gadgets and also the consistency is that the car proves that James Bond again is one person, because like I was saying, if it was a different person every time, he wouldn't know the controls, he wouldn't know how to drive that car, he wouldn't be that confident with it. It proves again that he is one person, and people need to realise with all these things that I'm saying, about all these things like with Tracy and the DB5 and stuff like that, is that basically it's proving that James Bond is one person. Finally, when it comes to James Bond's personality, what I'm trying to say is no matter which actor it is, what I'm trying to say is that how is it no matter which actor it is in each movie, he's always dressed up smartly? He's always asked a lassie for a drink, or a girl for a drink. He's always had the same gun. He's always had the Walther PPK, no matter which actor it is. The DB5 shown up several times. Why? Because it's his favourite car, basically. He's always flirted with Moneypenny, stuff like that. And what I'm saying is, with people's codename theory, is that the core of Bond is that no matter which actor it is, you will always see Bond at least in bed with a woman. You will always see Bond dressed in a smart suit, about to do some poker. No matter which actor it is, he's always flirted with Moneypenny at the office. No matter which actor it is, he's always let down Q. Stuff like that. Like I was saying, if it was a different character every time, then his personality would be different every single time. Like Sean Connery would be the same, but then, for example, George Lazenby wouldn't be a womanizer, and he wouldn't like women, and he wouldn't like to kill folk, stuff like that. So how could he not be the same person when I've proved all the evidence, and also his personality has not changed? No matter which actor it is, he still has the same core, no matter which director makes it. Now, I can agree there is some different things, like, for example, Pierce Brosnan was more of a womanizer he was more smooth, like they say, right? So there was more sex scenes and all that, and all the things which actually I absolutely hate. But what I'm trying to say is, that was the directing of the movie, not because of Bond being a different person. Bond is one person, and I'm trying to prove that he is just one person. How could he be a different character overall every time? It's just absolute beyond me. And what I'm saying is, when it comes to, for example, why he doesn't age, the only reason why he doesn't age is because, think about the movies overall, right? So, for example, the events of Dr. No could have been in a couple of weeks or something. And what I'm trying to say is, the only reason why he's not an old man is because, think about it, every movie, the movie each is like about 2 hours and something, right? But think about it realistically. Bond doesn't just do a mission for a couple of weeks and then disappears and comes back the next year. That's not what Bond does. What I'm trying to say, when you watch them all, it feels that it's Bond is doing his mission, basically. It doesn't feel like one of the actors doing it. It feels like Bond is doing a mission for or doing a mission for his country. And also his what I'm trying to say, when it comes to certain movies, they have different directors, they have a different story, right? And I'd say the only difference between all the actors is how they look and sound, okay? That is the only thing. Everything else is exactly the same, no matter which actor it is. You know, he has always wore the black suit and bow tie. He's always killed someone with the Walther PPK. He's always drove an expensive car. He's always been a womanizer and went in bed with a woman. We've seen that every single movie at least. How could he not be the same person? And that's what I'm trying to say. The personality hasn't changed no matter which actor. You know, you could say, well, they all sound different, and they all are different ages. Yeah, I get your point with that. But like I said, they're all playing the same person. And what I'll say as well is, when it comes to certain actors, not like what I'm saying, when it comes to why certain actors didn't come back for movies and stuff like that, when it comes to Sean Connery properly, right, he quit because he was too fed up, right? But he still looked good for his age. The thing is, about when it comes to Bond, James Bond as a character is supposed to be in his 30s, okay? He's supposed to be in his 30s. And when it comes to certain, like, for example, George Lazenby lied about his role, and that's the reason why I only done one. But when it came to Roger Moore, he quit because he thought he didn't look the right age. And again, Roger Moore looked good in all those movies that he did because he looked the part. He looked like a 30-year-old man, even though he was in his 50s. He was like 58 when he finished A View to a Kill. But what I'm trying to say, if you look at the other actors, even Daniel Craig looks good for his age too. Yes, he's in his 50s, but he's playing in his 30s. That's the whole point of James Bond. When it comes to certain people, they're either fed up or they don't look the part. Pierce Brosnan got kicked out, and I don't blame him at all. It was, you know, it was just terribly directed, some of those movies. GoldenEye was fantastic, but nothing else. Well, when it comes to the other movies, it was just terribly directed. But what I'm trying to say is that if Bond was a different character every time, his personality, then things would be completely different. One actor would be completely different from the other. And like I was saying about the 50th anniversary, it's not that Bond was 50, when it came to the 50th year anniversary, when it comes to Skyfall, that was how long the movies went, not because it was Bond's 50th mission. And again, when it comes to Bond, he's only been good at what he's doing because he's been trained. You know, he's been trained to do things like this. And when it comes to gambling, he's only done good at gambling because they've shown that he's been good at gambling. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.